Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter number 15. We'll begin. The Lord accepts Prasādam at the house of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhete kirim. Yat kripatamam vande Shri Gurum Deen Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam. Shri Chaitanya Ishvara Hari Om Tat Sat. The following summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrit Pravaha Bhashya. After the Rath Yatra festival, Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu worshipped Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with flowers and tulsi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in return worshipped Advaitacharya with the flowers and tulsi that remained on the offered plate and said a mantra, Yo asi so asi namo stute. Whatever you are, you are. But I offer my respects. You are, but I offer my respects unto you. Then Advaitacharya Prabhu invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for Prasādam. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees performed the Nandotsav ceremony, the Lord dressed himself as a cowherd boy. Thus the ceremony was very jubilant. Then the Lord and his devotees observed Vijayadashmi, the day of victory when Lord Ramchandra conquered Lanka. The devotees all became soldiers of Lord Ramchandra, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the ecstasy of Hanuman, manifested various transcendentally blissful activities. Thereafter, the Lord and his devotees observed various other ceremonies. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked all the devotees to return to Bengal. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Nityanand Prabhu to Bengal for preaching and also sent Ramadas, Gadadhar Das and several other devotees with him. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great humility sent some Jagannath Prasādam and a cloth from Lord Jagannath to his mother through Srivas Thakur. When the Lord bade farewell to Raghav Pandit, Vasudev Datta, the residents of Kulin Gram and other devotees, he praised them for their transcendental qualities. Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan asked some questions, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed them that all householder devotees must engage themselves in the service of Vaishnavas exclusively devoted to chanting the holy name of the Lord. He also instructed the Vaishnavas from Khanda as well as Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya and Vidya Vachaspati, and he praised Murari Gupta for his firm faith in the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra. Considering the humble prayer of Vasudeva Datta, he established that Lord Sri Krishna is qualified to deliver all the conditioned souls. Thereafter, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was accepting Prasādam at the house of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, son-in-law Amogha, created trouble in the family with his criticisms. The following morning, he was attacked by the disease of Visuchika, that is cholera. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very kindly saved him from death and enlivened him in chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. So, moving on to text number 1 of this chapter. Sārvabhauma grihe bhunjan swanindakam amoghakam angi kurvan sfutam chakre gauraha swam bhakta vashaitam. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking Prasādam at the house of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, Amogha criticized him. Still the Lord accepted Amogha, thereby showing how much he was obliged to his devotees. Verse 2. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Verse number 3. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Shrota Gana Chaitanya Charitamrit Yanra Prana Dhana. All glories to the listeners of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit who have accepted it as their life and soul. Verse number 4. Ay mata Mahaprabhu Bhakta Gana Sange Nila Chale Rahi Kare Nritya Gita Range. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Jagannath Puri, he constantly enjoyed chanting and dancing with his devotees. Verse number 5. Prathama Vasare Jagannath Darshana Nritya Geet Kare Dand Pranam Stvana. In the beginning of the day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deity of Lord Jagannath in the temple. He offered him obeisances and prayers and danced and sang before him. Verse number 6. Upala bhoga lagile kare bahire vijay Haridas mili aise apan nilai. After visiting the temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would remain outside during the Upala Bhog offering. He would then go to meet Haridas Thakur and return to his residence. Purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. At noon, when there was an Upala Bhoga offering in a place called Bhogavardhan Khanda, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go outside the temple. Before going outside, he used to stand near the Garuda Stambha column and offer his obeisances and prayers. Afterwards, the Lord would visit Siddha Bakula where Haridas Thakur lived. After visiting with Haridas Thakur, the Lord would return to his own place at the abode of Kashi Mishra. Verse number 7. Ghare vasi kare Prabhu nama sankirtan advaita asiya kare Prabhura pujana. Sitting in his room, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant on his beads and Advaita Prabhu would come there to worship the Lord. Verse number 8. Sugandhi salile dena padya achamana sarvange lepaye Prabhura sugandhi chandana. While worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhaṭṭācārya would offer him scented water to wash his mouth and feet. Then Bhaṭṭācārya would smear very fragrant sandalwood pulp all over his body. Verse 9. Gale mala dena mathaye tulasi manjari yoda hate stuti kare pade namaskari. Sri Advaitacharya would also place a flower garland around the Lord's neck and tulasi flowers, that is, on his head. Then with folded hands, Advaitacharya would offer obeisances and prayers unto the Lord. Verse number 10. Puja patre pushpa tulasi shesh ye achila se sabha lena prabhu acharya pujila. After being worshipped by Advaitacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take the dish containing flowers and tulsi and with whatever paraphernalia remained, worship Advaitacharya. Verse number 11. Yosi so si namo stute e mantra pade pade mukha vadya kari prabhu hasaye acharyare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would worship Advaitacharya by chanting the mantra, whatever you are, but I offer my respects unto you. In addition, the Lord would make some sounds within his mouth that would make Advaitacharya laugh. Verse number 12. Aimata aniyone karena namaskar prabhure nimantrana kare acharya bar bar. In this way, Advaitacharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would offer the respectful obeisances unto each other. Then Advaitacharya would extend an invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. Verse 13. Acharyera nimantrana ascharya kathana vistari varniyachena dasa vrindavana. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Advaitacharya's invitation is another wonderful story. It has been very vividly described by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Verse 14. Punarukti haya taha na kailun varnana ar bhakta gana kare prabhure nimantrana. Since Advaitacharya's invitation has been described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, I shall not repeat the story, but I shall say that other devotees also extended invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse 15. Eka eka dina eka eka bhakt grihe mahotsava prabhu sange tahan bhojan kare bhakt sabha Day after day, one devotee after another would invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the other devotees to lunch and would also hold a festival. Verse 16. Chari mas rahila sabe Mahaprabhu sange Jagannathera nana yatra dekhe maharange. All the devotees remained at Jagannath Puri for 4 continuous months and they observed all Lord Jagannath's festivals with great pleasure. Verse 17. Krishna Janma Yatra Dine Nandan Mahotsava Gopa Veshe Haila Prabhu Lena Bhakta Sabha. The devotees celebrated the festival of Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, which is also called Nanda Mahotsav, the festival of Nanda Maharaj. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees dressed themselves as cowherd boys. Verse 18. Dadi Dugdha Bhar Sabe Nij Skandhe Kari Mahotsav Sthane Aila Bali Hari Hari. After having dressed up like cowherd boys, all the devotees carried pots of milk and yogurt balanced on rods over their shoulders. Thus they all arrived at the festival grounds chanting the holy name of Hari. Verse 20. Kanani Khutiya Achena Nanda Veshadhari Jagannath Mahati Hena Chena Vrajeshwari. Kanani Khutiya dressed himself like Nanda Maharaj and Jagannath Mahiti dressed himself as Mother Yashoda. Verse 20. Apne Pratap Rudra Ar Mishra Kashi Sārvabhauma Ar Padicha Patra Tulsi. At that time, King Pratap Rudra was also personally present with Kashi Mishra, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya and Tulsi. Padicha Patra. Verse 21. Inha sabha lena prabhu kare nritya ranga dadhi dudh haridra jale bhare sabar anga. As usual, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced jubilantly. Everyone was covered with milk, yogurt and yellow turmeric water. Verse 22. Advaita kahe satya kahi na kariya kop laguda firaite par tabe jani gopa. At this time, Sri Bhaṭṭācārya said, Please do not be angry. I speak the truth. I shall know that you are a cowherd boy only if you can wheel this rod about. Verse 23. Tabe laguda lena prabhu piraite lagila bar bar akashe pheli lupiya dharila. Accepting Advaitacharya's challenge, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a big rod and began to wheel it round and round. Again and again he threw the rod into the sky and caught it when it fell. Verse 24. Shirera upare prishthe sammukhe dui pashe pad mathe firaya laguda dekhi lok hase. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wheeled and threw the rod, sometimes over his head, sometimes behind his back, sometimes in front of him, sometimes to his side, and sometimes between his legs. All the people laughed to see this. Verse 25. Alat chakre Rera Praya Laguda Pirai Dekhi Sarvloka Chitte Chamatkar Pai. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu whirled the rod in a circle like a firebrand, the heart of everyone who saw it was astonished. Verse 26. Eimata Nityananda Piraya Laguda Ke Bujhibe Tanha Dunhar Gopa Bhava Gudha. Nityananda Prabhu also played at whirling the rod. Who can understand how they were ecstatically immersed in the deep emotions of the cowherd boys. Verse 28. It's verse 27. Pratap Rudrera Agya Padicha Tulsi Jagannathera Prasad Vastra Ek Lena Asi. Following the orders of Maharaj Pratap Rudra, the temple superintendent named Tulsi brought one of Lord Jagannath's used cloths. Verse 28. Bahu Mulya Vastra Prabhu Mastake Bandhila Acharyadi Prabhure Ganera Paraila. The valuable cloth was wrapped around the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The other devotees headed by Advaitacharya also had cloths wrapped about their heads. Verse 29. Kanani Khutiya Jagannath Tuijana Aveshe Vilaila Ghare Chila Yatadhana. In ecstasy, Kanani Khutiya, who was dressed as Nand Maharaj, and Jagannath Mahiti, who was dressed as Mother Yashoda, distributed all the riches they had stocked at home. Verse 30. देखी महाप्रभु बड़ा संतोष पाइला, माता पिता ज्ञाने दुन्हे नमस्कार काइला. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greatly satisfied to see this, accepting them as his father and mother. He offered them obeisances. Verse 31. Param aveshe Prabhu aila nij ghara, ei mata lila kare Gauranga Sundara. In great ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, known as Gauranga Sundar, performed various pastimes. Verse 32. Vijayadashmi Lanka Vijayera Dine Vanara Sainya Kaila Prabhu Lena Bhaṭṭācārya. On the day celebrating the conquest of Lanka, the day known as Vijayadashmi, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dressed up all his devotees as monkey soldiers. Verse 33. Hanuman Aveshe Prabhu Vriksha Shakha Lena Lanka Gade Chari Pele Gada Bhangiya. Displaying the emotions of Hanuman, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took up a large tree branch and mounting the walls of the Lanka fort began to dismantle it. Verse 34. Kahanre Ravana Prabhu Kahe Krodaveshe Jagan Mata Hare Papi Marimu Swamshe. In the ecstasy of Hanuman, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu angrily said, "Where is the rascal Ravan? He has kidnapped the universal mother Sita. Now I shall kill him and all his family." Verse 35. Gosanir Aveshe Dekhi Lok Chamatkar Sarv Lok Jai Jai Bale Bar Bar. Everyone became very astonished to see the emotional ecstasy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everyone began to chant all glories, again and again. Verse 36. Ei mata rasa yatra ara dipavali utthan Dvadashi Yatra Dekhila Sakali. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees participated in all the festivals including Ras Yatra, Deepavali and Utthan Dvadashi. Purport: the Deepavali festival takes place on the dark moon night in the month of Kartik. The Rasa Yatra or Rasa dancing of Krishna takes place on the full moon night of the same month. Utthan Dvadashi takes place the day after Ekadashi in the waxing fortnight of the moon in the same month. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu participated in all these festivals. Verse 37. Ekadine Mahaprabhu Nityanande Lena Dui Bhai Yukti Kaila Nibhrite Vasiya. One day the two brothers Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu consulted with each other while sitting together in a solitary place. Verse 38. Kiba Yukti Kaila Dunhe Keha Nahi Jane Phale Anumana Pache Kaila Bhakta Gane. No one could understand what the brothers discussed between themselves, but later all the devotees could guess that the subject matter was, verse 39, Tabe Mahaprabhu Swaba Bhakte Bolaila Goda Deshe Yaha Prabhu Sabe Vidaye Karila. Thereafter Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called for all devotees and asked them to return to Bengal. In this way he bade farewell to them. Verse 40. Sabare Kaila Prabhu Pratyabda Asiya Gundicha Dekhiya Yabe Amare Miliya. Bidding farewell to the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested them to return to Jagannath Puri every year to see him and then see the cleansing of Gundicha temple. Okay. Acharya, verse 41. Acharya Agya Dila Kariya Samman Ei Chandal Adi Krishna Bhakti Dio Dan. Translation: with a great respect, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Bhaṭṭācārya give Krishna consciousness, devotion to Krishna, even to the lowest of men. Purport: this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order to all his devotees. Krishna Bhakti, devotion of Krishna, is open to everyone, even low-class men like Chandals. One should follow this order in the disciplic succession stemming from Sri Bhaṭṭācārya and then Prabhu, and distribute some Krishna consciousness without discrimination throughout the world. There are different kinds of men, beginning with the Brahman and going down to the lowest platform known as the Chandal. Whatever one's position with everyone in this age of Kali needs to be enlightened with Krishna consciousness. This is the greatest need of the day. Everyone is acutely feeling the pangs of material existence, even in the ranks and files of the American Senate. The pinpricks of material existence are felt so much so that April 30, 1974 was actually set aside as prayer day. Thus, everyone is feeling the resultant pinpricks of Kali Yuga brought about by human society, indulging in pinpricks of material lives are felt so much so that, yes, we read that 30th April 1974 was set aside as a prayer day. Everybody was feeling the pinpricks of the human society, indulging in all bad things, not following rules and regulations. Now is the time for the members of the International Society. Okay. Society for Krishna Consciousness. Now is the time for members of the ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, to distribute Krishna Bhakti all over the world and thus follow the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord has ordered everyone to become a guru. In Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, 7th Canto, verse 21 to 8, Amar Agya Guru Hena Tara E Desha. Everyone in this very town and village should be enlightened by the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna consciousness should be distributed to everybody indiscriminately. In this way, the entire world will be peaceful and happy, and everyone will glorify Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he desires. The word Chandala actually refers to the dog eater who is considered lower. Right, where were we? The word Chandala refers to the dog eater who is considered the lowest of men. Even Chandals can be enlightened. In Kesi, due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's benedictions, Krishna Bhakti is not the monopoly of the certain caste. Everyone is eligible to receive the great benediction given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone should be given a chance to receive it and be happy. The word Dan means charity. It also is significant in this verse. Whoever engages in the distribution of Krishna consciousness is a charitable person. Professional men recite Srimad Bhagavatam and discuss Krishna Bhakti for exchange of money. They cannot distribute such exalted transcendental property to everyone and anyone. Only pure devotees who have no other motivation other than doing this service. Krishna can give such transcendently valuable benedictions out of charity. Verse number 42. Nityanande Agya Dila Yaha Gaudadeshe Anargala Prema Bhakti Kariya Prakashe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu go to Bengal and without restriction manifest devotional service to the Lord Krishna consciousness. Purpose: Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus ordered Nityananda Prabhu to deliver all the Bengalis to devotional service. In Bhagavad-Gita 9.32, Lord says, Mam hi partha vyapashritya ye pi syuh papa yonayah striyu vaishyas tatha shudras te api yanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas and Shudras, can attain the supreme destination. Whoever takes to Krishna consciousness and follows the regulative principles can return home back to Godhead. In his Anubhashya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, there is a class of so-called devotees called Prakrit Sahajyas who think that Nityanand Prabhu is an ordinary human being. They have spread the news that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityanand Prabhu to return to Bengal from Orissa just to marry and beget children. This is certainly a great offense against Nityanand Prabhu. Such an offense is called Pashanda Buddhi or an atheistic remark. Right. Such an offense is called Pashanda Buddhi or an atheistic remark. Offenders consider Nityanand Prabhu to be like one of them, an ordinary human being. They do not know of Nityanand Prabhu's identity with the Vishnu Tattva. Thinking Nityanand Prabhu to be an ordinary human being is the business of mental speculators known as Kunpatmavadis. These people accept the material body, which is a bag of three material elements, Gunape Tri Dhatuke, as themselves. They think that Nityanand Prabhu's body was similarly material and then that it was meant for sense gratification. Whoever thinks in this way is a candidate for the darkest regions of hell. Those who hanker after women and money, who are self-interested and have the mentality of merchants, can certainly discover many things with their fertile brains and speak against the authorized revealed scriptures. They also engage in some money-making businesses to cheat innocent people, and they try to support their business programs by making such offensive statements. Actually, Nityanand Prabhu, being the expansion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is the most munificent incarnation. No one should consider him an ordinary human being. For an entity like the Prajapatis, who were ordered by Brahma to increase the generations, Nityanand Prabhu should not be considered instrumental for sense gratification. Although professional so-called preachers support this idea, such statements are not found in any authorized revealed scriptures. Actually, there is no support for these statements made by the Sahajyas or other professional distributors of Krishna Bhakti. Verse 43, Ramadas Gadadhar Adi Keta Jane Tomar Sahai Lagi Dilo Tomar Sane. Nityanand Prabhu was given assistants like Ramadas, Gadadhar Das and several others. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I give them to you to assist you. Verse 44, Madhya Madhya Ami Tomar Nikat Yaiba Alakshite Rahi Tomar Nritya Dekhiba. I shall also go to see you at intervals, keeping myself invisible, I shall watch you dance. Verse number 45. Shivas Pandite Prabhu Kari Alingana Kanthe Dhari Kahe Tanre Madhur Vachana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Shivas Pandit and with his arm about his neck began to speak to him in sweet words. Verse 46. Tomar ghare kirtane ami nitya nachiba tumi dekha pabe aar keha na dekhiba. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Srivas Thakur perform congregational chanting daily and be assured that I shall also dance in your presence. You will be able to see this dancing but no others. Verse 47. Ei vastra mata ke diha ei sab prasad dandavat kari amar kshamayha aparadh. Take this prasadam of Lord Jagannath and this cloth and deliver them to my mother Sachi Devi. After offering her obeisances, please request her to excuse my offenses. Verse 48. Tanra seva chhadi ami kariyachi sannyas dharam manahe kari ami nij dharma nash. I have given up the service of my mother and have accepted the sannyas order. Actually, I should not have done this, for by doing this I have destroyed my religious principles. Verse 49. Tandra prema vasha ami tandra seva dharma taha chhadi kariyachi batulera karma. I am subordinate to the love of my mother, and it is my duty to serve her in return. Instead of doing so, I have accepted the renounced order. Certainly, this is the act of a madman. Verse 50. Vatula balakera mata nahi lay dosh e jani mata more na karai rosh. A mother is not offended by her mad son, And knowing this, my mother is not offended by me. Verse 51. Ki kai sannyase mor prema nij dhana, ye kale sannyasa kailun chana haila mana. I had no business in accepting the renounced order and sacrificing my mother for my mother, which is my real property. Actually, I was in a crazy state of mind when I accepted sannyas. Verse 52. Nilachale achun muni tanhar agyate madhye madhye asimu tanra charan dekhite. I am staying here at Jagannath Puri, Nilachal, to comply with her orders, but at intervals I will go to see her lotus feet. Verse 53. Nitya yaip dekhi muni tanhar charane sfurti gyane tenho taha satya nahi mane. Indeed, I go there daily to see her lotus feet. She is able to feel my presence, although she does not believe it to be true. Verse 54 and 55. Ekadina shali anna vyanjana panchasat shaka mocha ghanta brishta patwala nib pad lembu ada khanda dadhi dugdha khanda sar shala grame samara pilena bahu upahar. One day my mother Shachi offered food to Shaligram Vishnu. She offered rice cooked from shali paddies, various kinds of vegetables, spinach, curry made of banana flowers, fried patula and nimba leaves, piece of ginger, lemon, and also yogurt, milk, sugar, candy, and many other foods. Verse 56. Prasad lena kole karena krandana mimaira priyamor aisab vyanjan. Taking the food upon her lap, mother was crying to think that all that food was very dear to her Nimai. Verse 57. Nimani nahika etha ki kare bhojana mor dhyane ashru jale bharila nayana. My mother was thinking, Nimai is not here. Who will accept all this food? As she meditated upon me in this way, her eyes filled with tears. Verse 58. Shigra yai muni sab karinu bhakshana shunya patra dekhi ashru kariya marjana. While she was thus thinking and crying, I immediately went there and with great haste and ate everything. Seeing the dish empty, she wiped her tears away. Verse 59. Ke anna vyanjana khaila shunya kena pat bala gopal ki ba khaila sab bhat. Thus she began to wonder who had eaten all that food. Why is the plate empty? She wondered, doubting that Bal Gopal had eaten it all. Verse 60. Kiba mora kathaye mane brahma hena gela kiba kon jantu asi sakala khaila. She began to wonder whether there had actually been anything on the plate in the first place. Then again she thought that some animal might have come and eaten everything. Verse 61. Kiba ami anna patre brahme na badila eta chinti pak patra yana dekila. She thought perhaps by mistake I did not put any food on the plate, so thinking she went into the kitchen and saw the pots. Verse 62. Anna venjana purna dekhi sakala bhanjvajane dekhiya samshay haila kichu chamatkar mane. When she saw that all pots were still filled with rice and vegetables, there was some doubt in her mind and she was astonished. Verse 63. Ishane bolan punah sthana le paila punarapi gopalake anna samarpila. Thus wondering, she called Ishan the servant and had the place cleaned again. She then offered another plate to Gopal. Verse 64. E mata yabe karena uttama randhana more khao yaite kare utkanthaya rodana. Now whenever she prepares some good cooked food and wants to feed it to me, she cries in great anxiety. Verse 65. Tanra prem ani amaye karai bhojane antare manye sukha bhaaye nahi mane. Being obliged by her love, I am brought there to eat. Mother knows all these things internally and feels happiness, but externally she does not accept them. Verse number 66. E Vijaya Dashmite Haila E Riti Tanhake Puchiya Tandra Karaya Pratiti. Such an incident took place on the last Vijayadashmi day. You can ask her about this incident and thus make her believe that I actually go there. Verse 67. Etika kahite Prabhu vihval haila lok vidya vidaya karite Prabhu dhairya dharila. While describing this, all Sri Chaitanya overwhelmed, but just to finish bidding farewell, he remained patient. Waiting for the page to reload here. I think the connection has got a bit slow. Well, let's give it a minute if it improves. Otherwise, yes, it's come now. Verse 68. Raghav Pandite Kahen Vachana Sarasa Tomar Shuddha Preme Ami Haya Hayai Tomar Vasha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next spoke some relishable words to Raghav Pandit. He said, I am obliged to you due to your pure love for me. Verse number 69. Inhar Krishna Sevar Katha Shuna Sarvajana Param Pavitra Seva Ati Sarvottama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then informed everyone, just hear about the pure devotional service rendered to Krishna by Raghav Pandit. Indeed, Raghav Pandit's service is supremely pure and highly accomplished. Verse 70. Aradravya Rahu Shuna Nari Kelera Katha Pancha Ganda Kari Nari Kela Vikaya Tatha. Apart from other commodities, just hear about this offering of coconuts. A coconut is sold at the rate of 5 gandas each. Verse 71. Vatite keta shata vrikshe laksha phala tathapi shunena yatha mishta narikela. Although he already has hundreds of trees and millions of fruits, he is still very eager to hear about the place where sweet coconuts are available. Verse 72. Eka eka falera mulya diya chari chari pana dasha krosha haite anaye khariya yatana. He collects coconuts with great endeavor from a place 20 miles away, and he pays 4 panas each for them. Verse 73. Pratidina pancha sat phala cholana shushitala karite rakhi jale dubaina. Every day 5 to 7 coconuts are clipped and put into water to keep cool. Verse 74. Bhogera samay punah chuli samaskari Krishne samarpan kare mukh chidra kari. At the time of offering bhoga, the coconuts are again clipped and cleansed. After holes are made in them at the top, they are offered to Lord Krishna. Verse number 75. Krishna say narikela jal pan kari kabhu shunya phala rakhena kabhu jal bhari. Lord Krishna drinks the juice from these coconuts, and sometimes the coconuts are left drained of juice, and other times the coconut remains filled with juice. Verse 76. Jala shunya phala dekhi pandita harshita phala bhangi shasye kare satpatra purita. When Raghav Pandit sees that the juice has been drunk from the coconuts, he is very pleased. He then breaks the coconuts, takes out the pulp and puts it on another plate. Verse 77. Shasya samarpana kari bahire dhyana Shasya khana Krishna kare shunya bhajan. After Offering the pulp, he meditates outside the temple door. In the meantime, Lord Krishna, having eaten the pulp, leaves the plate empty. Verse 78. Kabhu shasya khana punah patra bhare shamse shraddha bade panditera prema sindhu bhase. Sometimes after eating the pulp, Krishna fills the plate again with new pulp. In this way, the faith of Raghav Pandit increases and he floats in an ocean of love. Verse 79. Ekadina phala dasha samskara kariya bhoga lagaite sevak aila lena. One day it so happened that about 10 coconuts were properly clipped and brought by a servant to offer to the deity. Verse 80. Avsar nahi haya vilamba haila phala patra hate sevak dware tar rahila. When the coconuts were brought, there was little time to offer them because it was already late. The servant holding the container of coconuts remained standing at the door. Verse 81. Dwarera upare bhite tenho hat dila sei hate phala chunila pandit dekhila. Raghav Pandit then saw that the servant touched the ceiling above the door and then touched the coconuts with the same hand. Verse 82. Pandit kahe dware lok kare gataye yate tar pad dhuli udi lage upar bhite. Raghav Pandit then said, people are always coming and going through the door. The dust from their feet blows up and touches the ceiling. Verse 83. Sai bhite hat diya phala parashila Krishna yogya nahe phala apavitra haila. After touching the ceiling above the door, you have touched the coconuts. Now they are no longer fit to be offered to Krishna because they are contaminated. Purport Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that Raghav Pandit was not simply a crazy fellow of suffering from some cleansing mania. He did not belong to the mundane world. In lower consciousness, accepting something to be spiritual when it is actually material is called Bhauma Ijya Dheya. Raghav Pandit was an eternal servant of Krishna and everything he saw was related to the service of Lord. He was always absorbed in the transcendental thought of how he could always serve Krishna with everything. Sometimes neophytes, devotees on the lower platform, try to imitate Raghav Pandit. On the platform, material purity and impurity, such imitation will not help anyone, as explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antalila 4.174. Bhadra Abhadra Vastu Jnana Nahika Prakrite. On the transcendental platform, there is no higher or lower, pure or impure. On the material platform, distinction is made between good and bad, but the spiritual platform, everything is of the same quality. Advaite Bhadra Bhadra Jnana Sabha Manodharma Ei Bhala Ei Manda Ei Sabha Brahma. In the material world, conception of good and bad are all mental speculations. Therefore, saying that this is good and that is bad is all mistake. Verse 84. Etabali phala phile prachira langiya aiche pavitra preme seva jagat jinya. Such is the service of Raghav Pandit. He did not accept the coconuts but threw them over the wall. His service is purely based on unalloyed love and it conquers the whole world. Verse 85. Tabe ar narikela samskar karaila param pavitra kari bhog lagaila. Thereafter Raghav Pandit and other coconuts gathered, cleansed and tipped with such great attention, he offered them to the deity to eat. Verse 87. Verse 86. Aimata kala amra naranga kanthala yaha dur grame suniyaiche bhala. In this way, from the distant villages, he collects excellent bananas, mangoes, oranges, jackfruits, and whatever other first-class fruits he has heard about. Verse 87. Bahumulya diya ani kariya yatan pavitra samskar kari kare nivedan All these fruits are collected from distant places and bought at a high price. After trimming them with great care and purity, Raghav Pandit offers them to the deity. Verse number 88. Aimata Vyanjanera Shak Moola Phala Aimata Chira Huduma Sandesha Sakal. Thus, with great care and attention, Raghav Pandit prepares spinach, other vegetables, radishes, fruits, chipped rice, powdered rice, and sweetmeats. Verse 89. Aimata Pitha Pana Kshira Odana Param Pavitra Ar Kare Sarvottama. Aimata Pitha Pana Kshira Odana Param Pavitra Ar Kare Sarvottama. He prepares cakes, sweet rice, condensed milk, and everything else with great attention, and the cooking conditions are purified so that the food is first class and delicious. Verse number 90. Kashmadi Achara Adi Anek Prakar Gandha Vastra Alankar Sarvdavya. Sar. Raghav Pandit also offers all kinds of pickles such as Kashmadi. He offers various scents, garments, ornaments, and best of everything. Verse 91. Ei mata premera seva kare anupama yaha dekhi sav lokera juraya nayana. The Raghav Pandit serves the Lord in incomparable way. Everyone is very much satisfied just to see him. Verse 92. Eta bali ragavera kaila alingane emata sammanela sarva bhaṭṭācārya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then mercifully embraced Raghav Pandit. The Lord also offered all the Sri Raghav Pandit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then mercifully embraced Raghav Pandit. The Lord also offered all the devotees a farewell with similar respect. Verse 93. Shivananda Sene Kahe Kariya Samman Vasudev Dattera Tumi Kariya Samadhan. Sri Lord Chaitanya also presently respectfully said to Shivananda Sena, take care of Vasudev Datta very nicely. Verse 94. Param Uddar Inho Ye Dina Ye Aise Se Dine Vyay Kari Nahi Rakhe Sheshe. Vasudeva Datta is very liberal, for every day when he comes from whatever income he receives, he spends, he does not keep any balance. Verse 95. Prihastha haina inho chahiye sanchay na kaile kutumb bharan nahi hai. Being a householder, Vasudeva Datta needs to save some money. Because he is not doing so, it is very difficult for him to maintain his family. Verse 96. Ihar gharera aaye vyaye sab tomar sthane sar khela hena tumi kariya samadhane. Please take care of Vasudeva's family affair, because become his larger manager and make the proper adjustments. Purport. Vasudeva Datta and Shivananda Sena were living in the same neighborhood, which is presently called Kumarhatta or Hali Sahara. Verse 97. Prati Varshe Amar Sab Bhakta Gana Lena Gundi Chai Asibe Sabai Palan Kariya. Come every year and bring all my devotees with you to the Gundicha festival. I also require you to maintain all of them. Verse 98. Kulina Gramere Kahe Samman Kariya Pratyabd Asibe Yatrae Patta Dori Lena. The Lord then with great respect extended an invitation to all the inhabitants of Kulin Gram, asking them to come every year and bring silken robe to carry Lord Jagannath during the Rath Yatra festival. Verse 99. Gunaraja Khan Kaila Shri Krishna Vijaya Tahan Eka Vakya Tanra Ache Premamaya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, Gunaraj Khan of Kulingram compiled a book named Shri Krishna Vijaya, in which there is a sentence revealing the author's ecstatic love of Krishna. Purport: Shri Krishna Vijaya is a book of poems considered to be the first poetry book written in Bengal. Shri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that this book was begun in the year 1395 Shakabd AD 1473. After 7 years, it was completed in 1402 Shakab. This book was written in plain language, and even half-educated Bengalis and women could read it very clearly. Even ordinary men with little knowledge of the alphabet could read this book and understand it. Its language is not very ornamental, and sometimes the poetry is not very sweet to hear. Although according to the sonnet style, each line should contain 14 syllables, there are sometimes 16, 12 or 13 syllables in this verse. In his verse, many words used on those days could be understood only by the local inhabitants. Yet this book is so popular that no bookstore is complete without it. It is very valuable for those who are interested in advancing in Krishna consciousness. Shri Gunaraj Khan was one of the topmost Vaishnavas, and he translated the 10th and 11th cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam for the understanding of the common man. The book Shri Krishna Vijaya was highly praised by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is very valuable for all the Vaishnavas. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives a genealogical table and family history of Gunaraj Khan. When a Bengali emperor named Adishur first came from Kanyakubj or Kannauj, he brought with him 5 Brahmins and 5 Kayasts. Since the king is supposed to be accompanied by his associates, the Brahmanas accompanied the king to help him in higher spiritual matters. The Kayasts were to render other services. In the northern Indian high country, the Kayasts are accepted as Shudras, but in Bengal, the Kayasts are considered among the higher castes. It is a fact that the Kayasts came to Bengal from northern India, specifically from Kanyakubj or Kannauj. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the Kayasts who came from Kanyakubj were high-class men. Of them, Dashrath Vasu was great personality, and the 13th generation of his family included Gunaraj Khan. His real name was Maladhar Vasu, but the title Khan was given to him by the Emperor of Bengal because he came to be known as Gunaraj Khan. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following genealogical table of Gunaraj Khan: Dashrath Vasu, Kushal, Shubhashankar, Hamsa, Shaktiram, Muktiram, Alankar, Damodar, Anantaram, Guni Nayak and Vina Nayak. The 12th generation, including Bhagirath, and the 13th Maladhar Vasu or Gunaraj Khan. Shri Gunaraj Khan had 14 sons, of whom the second, Lakshmi Nath Vasu, received the title Satyaraj Khan. His son was Shri Ramananda Vasu. Therefore, Ramananda Vasu belonged to the 15th generation. Gunaraj Khan was a very well-known and wealthy man. In his palace, fort and temples are still existing, and from these we can deduce that the opulence of Gunaraj Khan was certainly very great. Shri Gunaraj Khan never cared for the artificial aristocracy introduced by Balal Sen. Verse number 100. Nanda Nandana Krishna Mora Prananath Ei Vakya Vikainu Tandra Vamshera Hatha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is my life and soul. By this statement, I am sold into the hands of the descendants of Gunaraj Khan. Purport: the full verse is referred to here as Eka Bhave Vandavari Hari Yoda Kari Hatha Nanda Nandana Krishna Mora Prananath. With folded hands, I offer my prayers unto Krishna, Nanda Maharaj's son, who is my life and soul. Verse 101. Tomar ki katha tomar gramer kukura sai mora priya anya jana rahu dura. To say nothing of you, even a dog living in your village is dear to me. What then to speak of others? Verse 102. Tabe Ramananda Ar Satyaraj Khan Prabhura Charane Kichu Kaila Nivedan. After this, Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan both submitted questions at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse 103. Grihastha Vishayi Ami ki Mora Sadhane Shri Mukhe Agya Kar Prabhu Nivedi Charane. Satyaraj Khan said, My dear Lord, being a householder and a materialistic man, I do not know the process of advancing in spiritual life. I therefore submit myself unto your lotus feet and request you to give me orders. Verse 104. Prabhu kahena Krishna seva Vaishnav sevana nirantar kar Krishna nama sankirtan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Without cessation, continue chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. Whenever possible, serve him and his devotees, the Vaishnavas. Verse 105. Satyaraj bale Vaishnav Chiniba Kemane Ki Vaishnav Kaha Tanra Samanya Lakshane. Upon hearing this, Satyaraj said, How can I recognize a Vaishnav? Please let me know what a Vaishnav is. What are his symptoms? Verse 106. Prabhu kahe Yanra Mukhe Shuni Ek Bar Krishna Naam Se Pujya Shrestha Sabakar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Whoever chants the holy name of Krishna just once is worshipable and is the topmost human being. Purport Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that a person who simply chants the holy name of Krishna once becomes perfect and should be regarded as Vaishnav. This is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Upadeshamrita. Krishneti yasya giritam manasandriyeta. With such faith in the holy name, one may begin a life of Krishna consciousness, but an ordinary person cannot chant the holy name of Krishna with such faith. One should accept the holy name of Krishna to be identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, transcendence himself, as the Padma Purana says. The holy name of Krishna is identical with Krishna and is like a Chintamani gem, a touchstone. That name is Krishna personified in sound and is therefore perfectly transcendental and eternally liberated from material contamination. Thus one should understand that the name Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. Having such faith, one must continue to chant the holy name. When one is situated on the neophyte platform, one cannot understand the devotional ingredients of a pure unalloyed devotee. However, when the novice engages in devotional service, especially in deity worship, and follows the order of a bona fide spiritual master, he is a pure devotee. Anyone can take advantage of hearing about Krishna consciousness from such devotee and thus gradually become purified. In other words, any devotee who believes that the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord is a pure devotee, even though he may be in the neophyte stage. By his association, others may also become Vaishnavas. One is known as materialistic devotee if he simply worships the deity of Hari with faith but does not show proper respect to the devotees and to others. This is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.47. Archayam eva haraye pujam yah shraddhayehate natad bhakshetu chanyeshu sabhaktah prakritah smritah. Yet even by associating with such a neophyte devotees, one can become a devotee also. When Lord Chaitanya was teaching Sanatana Goswami, he said, Shraddhavan janahaya bhakti adhikari uttam madhyam kanishta shraddha anusari. Yahar komal shraddha se kanishta jana krame krame tenho bhakta haibe uttama rati prema tartamye bhakta tartama. A person who has attained firm faith is a real candidate for advancing in Krishna consciousness. According to the faith, there are first class, second class, and neophyte devotees. One who has preliminary faith is called the Kanishtadhikari or a neophyte. The neophyte, however, can become an advanced devotee if he strictly follows the regulative principles set down by the spiritual master. Therefore, it is on the basis of faith and attachment to Krishna that one can judge who is Madhyamadhikari or an Uttamadhikari. It is thus concluded that even a neophyte devotee is superior to the karmis and jnanis because he has full faith in chanting the holy name of the Lord. A karmi or a jnani, regardless of his greatness, has no faith in Lord Vishnu, his holy name, or his devotional service. One may be advanced religiously, but if he is not trained in devotional service, he has a very little credit on the transcendental platform. Even a neophyte devotee engaged in deity worship in accordance with the regulations set forth by the spiritual master is in a position superior to that of the fruitive worker and speculative philosopher. Verse 107. Eka Krishna name kare sarva pap kshaya nava vidha bhakti purna nam haite haya. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna once, a person is relieved from all the reactions of sinful life. One can complete the 9 processes of devotional service simply by chanting the holy name. Purport: the 9 types of devotional services are mentioned in Bhagavatam, Canto 7, 5.2, 5.23. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Iti Pumsarpita Vishnau Bhaktis Chain Nava Lakshana Kriyata Bhagavate Adha Tanmanye Dhitam Uttamam. The process of devotional service entails hearing, chanting, and remembering the holy name, form, pastimes, qualities, and entourage of the Lord, offering service according to the time, place, and performer, worshipping the deity, offering prayers, always considering oneself the eternal servant of Krishna, making friends with him, and dedicating everything unto him. These 9 items of devotional service, when directly offered to Krishna, constitute the highest attainment of life. This is the verdict of the revealed scriptures. As for being freed from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name of Krishna, only once one must chant the holy name without committing any offenses. Then chanting one name is sufficient to rescue a living being from all sinful reactions. Such a person who chants the holy name of the Lord offenselessly is very important and worshipable. Indeed, the 9 devotional processes beginning with Shravan and Kirtan can all be attained at once if one simply chants the holy name of the Lord offenselessly. In this regard, Srila Jiva Goswami states in his book Bhakti Sandarbha, Yadyapi Anya Bhakti Kalau Kartavya Tada Kirtanakhya Bhakti Samyogeneva. Out of the 9 processes of the devotional service, Kirtan is very important. Srila Jiva Goswami therefore instructs that the other processes such as Archan, Vandan, Dasya, and Sakhya should be executed, but they must be preceded and followed by Kirtan, the chanting of the holy name. We have therefore introduced the system in all our centers. Archan, Arti, Bhoga offering, deity dressing, and decoration are all preceded and followed by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Verse 108. Diksha Purācārya Vidhi Apeksha Na Kare, Jihva Sparshe Ei Chandal Sabare Uthare. One does not have to undergo initiation or execute the activities required before the initiation. One simply has to vibrate the holy name with his lips. Thus, even a man in the lowest class can be delivered. Purport: Srila Jiva Goswami explains Diksha in his Bhakti Sandarbha. Divyam Jnanam Yato Dadayat Kuryat Papasya Sankashyam Tasmad Diksheti Saprokta Dikshay Tattva Kovidaya. Diksha is a process by which one can awaken his transcendental knowledge and vanquish all reactions caused by the sinful activity. A person expert in the study of the revealed scriptures knows this process as Diksha. The regulative principles of Diksha are explained in Hari Bhakti Vilas and the Bhakti Sandarbha as stated. Dvijinam Anupetanam Swakarmadhyam Mayan Adishu Yadhadikaro Nastiha Syach Chopanya Nyad Anu Tatha Tadikshitanam Tu Mantra Devacharan Chandisu Vidhikaro Sti Atah Kuryad Atmanam Shiva Samstutam. Even though born in a Brahman family, one cannot engage in Vedic rituals without being initiated and having a sacred thread. Although born in a Brahman family, one becomes a Brahman Only after initiation and the sacred thread ceremony, unless one is initiated as a Brahman, one cannot worship the holy name properly. According to Vaishnava regulative principles, one must be initiated as Brahman. The Hari Bhakti Vilas quotes the following injunction from the Vishnu Yamala Adhiktasya Vamoro Kritam Sarvam Nirarthakam Pashu Yonim Avapnoti Diksho Varahitu Jana. Unless one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, all his devotional activities are useless. A person who is not properly initiated cannot descend again into the animal species. Hari Bhakti Vilas further quotes Ato Gurum Paramayavam Sarvaswam Vinivedya Griniyad Vaishnavam Mantram Diksha Purvam Vidhanata. It is the duty of every human being to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master, giving him everything, body, mind and intelligence. One must take Vaishnava initiation from him. Shri Bhakti Sandarbha gives the following quotation from Tattva Sagara Yatha Kanchantam Yati Kamsyam Rasa Vidhanatah Tatha Diksha Vidhanena Dvitijam Chayate Nridam. By chemical manipulation, bell metal is turned into gold when touched by mercury. Similarly, when a person is improperly initiated, he can acquire the qualities of a Brahman. Is properly initiated, he can acquire the qualities of Brahman. In discussing the Purushacharya process, Hari Bhakti Vilas further quotes the verse from Agastya Samhita. Puja traye kaliki nityam japas tarpanam evacha homo brahmana bhuktischa Purascharanam uchyate gurur labdhasya mantrasya prasadena yatha vidhi pancangopasana siddhaye purash chaitad vidhiyate. In the morning, afternoon and evening, one should worship the deity, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, offer oblations, perform a fire sacrifice, feed the Brahmans. These 5 activities constitute Purushacharya. To attain full success when taking initiation from the spiritual master, one should first perform these Purushacharya processes. The word Pura means before and Charya means activities. Due to the necessity of these activities, we do not immediately initiate disciples in the ISKCON. For 6 months, a candidate for initiation must first attend Arati and classes in the Shastras, practice the regulative principles and associate with other devotees. When one is fully actually advanced in the Purushacharya Vidhi, he is recommended by the local temple president for the initiation. It is not that anyone can be suddenly initiated that without meeting the requirements. When one is further advanced by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra 16 rounds daily, following the regulative principles and attending the classes, he receives the sacred thread after second 6 months. So Bhakti Vilas further states, we'll skip the mantras here. Without performing the Purushacharya activities, one cannot become perfect even by chanting this mantra for hundreds of years, but one who has undergone the Purushacharya Vidhi process can attain success very easily. If one wishes to perfect his initiation, he must first undergo the Purushacharya activities. The Purushacharya process is the life force by which one is successful in chanting the mantra. Without the life force, one cannot do anything. Similarly, without the life force of Purushacharya Vidhi, too, no mantra can be perfected. In the Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami describes the importance of deity worship and initiation Diksha as follows. It is Srimad Bhagavatam's opinion that the process of deity worship is not actually necessary, just as the specific prescriptions of the Pancharatra and other scriptures do not have to be followed. The Bhagavatam enjoins that even without practicing deity worship, one can achieve the complete success of human life by any other devotional processes, such as simply offering oneself to the Lord's feet for his protection. Nonetheless, Vaishnavas follow the path of Sri Narad and his successors, endeavor to establish a personal relationship with the Lord by receiving the grace of bona fide spiritual master through initiation. And in this tradition, the devotees are obliged at the time of initiation to begin engaging in deity worship. Although deity worship is not necessary, the material conditioning of most candidates for the devotional service requires that they engage in this activity. When we consider their bodily and mental conditions, we find that the characters of such candidates is impure and their minds are agitated. Therefore, to rectify this material conditioning, the great sage Narad and others have different times recommended various kinds of regulations for deity worship. Similarly, Ramcharan Chandrika states, O best of the Brahmins, even without initiation, preliminary purification or acceptance of the renounced order, one can attain perfection in devotional service simply by chanting the Lord's holy name. In other words, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so powerful that it cannot depend on the official initiation, but if one is initiated and engages in deity worship, the Pancharatra Vidhi, his Krishna consciousness will awaken very soon and his identification with the material world will be vanquished. The more one is freed from the material identification, the more one can realize that the spirit soul is qualitatively as good as the supreme soul. At such a time, when one is situated on the absolute platform, one can understand that the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical. At that stage of realization, the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna mantra, cannot be identified with any material sound. If one accepts the Mahamantra as a material vibration, he falls down. One should worship and chant the holy name of the Lord by accepting it as Lord himself. One should therefore be initiated properly according to revealed scriptures under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. Although chanting the holy name is good for both the conditioned and liberated soul, it is especially beneficial for the conditioned soul, because by chanting it one is liberated. When a person who chants the holy name is liberated, he attains this ultimate perfection by returning home back to Godhead. In the words of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, Adi Lila 7.73, Krishna mantra haite habe samsar mochana, Krishna nama haite pabe Krishnera charana. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. The offenseless chanting of the holy name does not depend on the initiation process, although initiation may depend on Purushcharya or Purushcharana. The actual chanting of the holy name does not depend on Purushcharya Vidhi or the regulative principles. If one chants the holy name even once without committing an offense, he attains all success. During the chanting of the holy name, the tongue must work. Simply by chanting the holy name, one is immediately delivered. The tongue is Sevan Mukha Jivha. It is controlled by service. One whose tongue is engaged in tasting material things and also talking about them cannot use a tongue for absolute realization. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahayam indriya Sevan Mukhe Jivadu Swayam eva sfurtiyadaha. With the material senses, one cannot understand the transcendental holy name of the Lord or his activities and pastimes, but when one actually engages in devotional service, utilizing the tongue, the Lord is revealed. It is stated in the Madhya Lila 17.134. Atev Krishna Nama Deha Vilasa Prakritri Indriya Grahya Nahe Haya Swa Prakash. The holy name of Krishna, his body and his pastimes cannot be understood by the blunt material senses. They are manifested independently. So we'll continue our reading from verse 109 next time of the 15th chapter. Thank you for joining. Hare Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.